From the dawn of the space age to the interstellar explorers of today, humanity's journey into the cosmos is a story of ambition and discovery. It all began in 1957 with the launch of Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite to orbit Earth. Just a few years later, in 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first human to journey into outer space. The space race reached its pinnacle in 1969, when Apollo 11 landed on the Moon, and Neil Armstrong took that historic one small step. The 1970s saw the launch of the first space station, Salyut 1, and the Voyager probes began their grand tour of the outer solar system. Today, the International Space Station stands as a symbol of global cooperation, continuing our quest for knowledge among the stars. As the 20th century gave way to a new millennium, space exploration entered a transformative era. Robotic missions became our distant eyes, revealing worlds once known only through imagination. In 1997, the Mars Pathfinder mission delivered the Sojourner rover, proving that humanity could explore other planets without leaving Earth. Soon after, a new generation of orbiters and landers began uncovering evidence that Mars once held water, and perhaps the conditions for life. The 21st century also marked the rise of private spaceflight. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin redefined what was possible, developing reusable rockets that drastically reduced the cost of reaching orbit. In 2012, a commercial spacecraft docked with the International Space Station for the first time, signaling a new partnership between governments and private innovators. Meanwhile, humanity's gaze reached even farther. The Hubble Space Telescope reshaped our understanding of the universe, while the James Webb Space Telescope opened an unprecedented window into the birth of stars, distant galaxies, and the atmospheres of alien worlds. Each discovery reminded us that the universe is vast, ancient, and filled with mysteries yet to be solved. Today, plans to return humans to the Moon are underway, not as a final destination, but as a stepping stone. The Artemis program aims to establish a lasting presence on the lunar surface, preparing humanity for its greatest challenge yet, a journey to Mars. At the same time, interstellar probes like Voyager continue to drift through the cosmic dark, carrying messages from Earth, silent ambassadors of a species driven to explore. From fragile satellites to interstellar explorers, humanity's journey into the cosmos is far from over. With each launch, each discovery, and each question answered, we move closer to understanding not only the universe around us, but our place within it. Yet the story does not end with orbiting stations or distant probes drifting into the dark. As humanity pushed further, space became not only a frontier of science, but a mirror reflecting our own fragility. Astronauts learned that beyond Earth's protective atmosphere, the human body weakens, time feels different, and isolation becomes a silent companion. Every mission carried not only technology, but courage. In recent decades, Mars emerged as the next great horizon. Robotic explorers traversed its dusty plains, drilling into ancient rock, searching for signs of water and traces of life long vanished. Each discovery raised a profound question: was Mars once alive, and could life exist beyond our planet? At the same time, space exploration began to change hands. Reusable rockets returned to Earth like falling stars, signaling a future where access to space would no longer belong to governments alone. What once took nations now took innovators, visionaries, and private ambition. Space was no longer just a race, it was becoming a shared destiny. As telescopes gazed deeper into the cosmos, humanity began to see farther back in time than ever before. Galaxies formed billions of years ago appeared on our screens, revealing that the universe is not static, but alive with motion, birth, and collapse. Every image reminded us that our planet is a small, fragile oasis in an immense cosmic ocean. Now, humanity stands at a threshold once again. Plans are drawn for permanent bases on the Moon, journeys to Mars, and technologies that may one day carry us beyond the boundaries of our solar system. The questions ahead are no longer just how far we can go, but who we become along the way. Because the journey into space has never been only about rockets or stars. It is the story of a species refusing to remain grounded, driven by curiosity, shaped by risk, and united by the desire to understand what lies beyond the horizon. And as long as humanity looks up at the night sky, the journey will continue. Beyond the plans and projections, there is something deeper driving humanity forward. It is the same impulse that once pushed our ancestors across oceans and into unknown lands. Space is simply the next chapter of that ancient instinct, to explore, to survive, and to seek meaning beyond what is known. In the quiet hum of spacecraft and the endless silence between stars, humanity confronts its smallest and greatest truths. From orbit, borders vanish. Conflicts fade. Earth becomes a single, fragile world suspended in darkness. Astronauts often return changed, carrying with them a new understanding that our differences are insignificant compared to the vastness that surrounds us. As technology advances, the impossible slowly becomes routine. What was once science fiction, artificial intelligence guiding spacecraft, habitats designed for other worlds, engines capable of unprecedented speeds, now moves from imagination into engineering. Each breakthrough brings us closer to becoming a multi-planetary species. Yet with progress comes responsibility. The expansion into space forces humanity to ask difficult questions. How do we explore without repeating the mistakes made on Earth? How do we protect worlds we have not yet touched? And how do we ensure that the future beyond our planet belongs not to a few, but to all? Somewhere beyond the reach of our fastest probes, countless stars burn with unseen planets circling them. Among those distant worlds may exist oceans, skies, and perhaps life staring back into the same darkness, asking the same questions. Whether we ever meet them or not, their possibility reshapes our understanding of ourselves. The journey into space is no longer measured only in distance, but in time, stretching across generations yet unborn. It is a promise written into the future, carried forward by curiosity and hope. And one day, when humanity finally steps onto worlds still unnamed, we will look back toward the faint blue that started it all, and remember that this journey began not with conquest, but with wonder. Long after the first footsteps marked alien soil, humanity would come to understand that exploration is not a single achievement, but a permanent state of becoming. Each generation inherits the questions left unanswered by the last, carrying them farther into the darkness with new tools and new dreams. As settlements slowly take shape beyond Earth, life adapts. Children are born under different skies, learning to walk in lower gravity, gazing at suns that are not their own. What it means to be human begins to evolve, not in essence, but in perspective. Home is no longer a single planet, but a memory shared across worlds. Between stars, time stretches endlessly. Messages take minutes, then hours, then years to arrive. Distance reshapes relationships, forcing humanity to redefine connection, patience, and belonging. Yet even separated by light years, the same stories are told, of Earth, of oceans, of skies once filled with clouds and birds. Technology carries us forward, but it is memory that anchors us. Archives of art, language, music, and history travel alongside explorers, preserving the fragile imprint of a species that refuses to forget where it came from. In this way, humanity does not merely expand into space, it brings its soul with it. And still, the universe remains vast beyond comprehension. For every world reached, 1,000 more remain untouched. For every mystery solved, countless others emerge. Space does not yield its secrets easily. It invites humility, patience, and awe. Perhaps that is its greatest gift. In reaching outward, humanity learns inward. In confronting infinity, we rediscover the value of a single life, a single moment, a single fragile world. The stars do not promise answers. They offer possibility. And as long as humanity chooses to listen to that silent invitation, the journey, unwritten, uncertain, and extraordinary, will never truly end. In the far future, when the names of our earliest rockets have faded into history, their legacy will remain written across the stars. Ancient launch sites will be remembered not as monuments of metal and fire, but as the moment humanity chose curiosity over fear. Civilizations may rise on distant worlds, shaped by environments unlike anything Earth ever knew. Even as centuries pass, the night sky will remain a shared inheritance. No matter how far humanity travels, there will always be a moment of stillness, when explorers pause, look outward, and feel the same quiet or their ancestors once felt beneath Earth's stars. With each distant colony, new questions will emerge. What defines home when it exists across worlds? What traditions endure when gravity, time, and sky itself are different? Humanity will discover that survival is not enough. Meaning must travel alongside technology, or the journey becomes empty. There will be times of doubt. Expeditions will fail. Entire generations may question whether the stars were ever meant to be reached. But history will remind them that progress has never been a straight path, only a persistent one. Every setback will echo the earliest days of exploration, when fragile machines and fragile humans dared to leave Earth at all. Across the void, signals will continue to travel, stories, discoveries, warnings, and hopes encoded in light. These messages will bind distant worlds together, forming a civilization stretched across the cosmos, unified not by proximity, but by purpose. And somewhere, far from the noise of engines and the glow of cities, a single human will stand beneath an unfamiliar sky, gazing at constellations yet unnamed. In that moment, the distance between past and future will collapse. The first satellite, the first footprint on the moon, the first step beyond Earth, all will converge into a single realization. The universe did not call humanity outward. Humanity answered itself. Not to conquer the stars, not to escape its origins, but to understand existence in its fullest scale. And as long as there are questions left unasked, horizons left unseen, and wonder left alive within the human spirit, the journey will never conclude. It will simply move forward, quietly, endlessly, into the dark, carrying the light of awareness with it. And in that vast forward motion, humanity will begin to understand that exploration reshapes not only where we live, but how we think. Distance softens urgency. Time gains new meaning when measured in light years instead of days. Patience becomes a survival skill, and perspective becomes a form of wisdom. New sciences will emerge from life among the stars. Biology will adapt to unfamiliar radiation and altered gravity. Architecture will learn to grow rather than be built. Cultures will diverge, then reconnect, shaped by isolation yet bonded by shared origin. Humanity will no longer be singular, but it will remain connected. Legends will form around the earliest explorers of deep space. Their journeys, once calculated in fuel and trajectory, will be remembered as acts of faith, leaps into uncertainty guided by knowledge and hope in equal measure. Their names may fade, but their courage will echo across generations. Still, the universe will resist being fully understood. Dark matter will remain unseen. Time will bend in ways that challenge intuition. Space itself will continue to expand, reminding humanity that comprehension has limits, and that those limits are not failures, but invitations. In learning how small it truly is, humanity will gain something unexpected: clarity. Against the backdrop of infinity, hatred will seem smaller, greed more fragile, cooperation more necessary than ever before. Survival beyond Earth will demand unity not as an ideal, but as a condition. And so the journey will persist, not driven by destiny, but by choice. Each launch, each transmission, each silent orbit will affirm the same belief, that existence is richer when explored, and meaning deepens when shared. The stars will not wait. They never have. Yet humanity will continue toward them, not in haste, but with intention, carrying questions older than civilization itself, and answers still forming in the quiet between worlds. And when the long journey is finally reflected upon, when humanity pauses to look back across the vast distances it has crossed, the meaning of exploration will become clear. It was never about reaching the farthest star. It was never about leaving Earth behind. It was about understanding who we are when faced with infinity. From the first spark of curiosity to the silent drift between galaxies, humanity's path into the cosmos stands as a testament to courage, imagination, and restraint. A reminder that progress is not measured by distance alone, but by wisdom gained along the way. The universe did not grant us answers. It offered perspective. And in that perspective, humanity found something rare: humility. So long as we remember where we came from, protect what we touch, and choose wonder over fear, the journey will remain worthy of its cost. Because the greatest discovery humanity will ever make is not what lies among the stars, but what it becomes while reaching for them. And thus, under every sky, on every world, past, present, and yet to be born, the story ends where it always began, with a question, and the courage to ask it.